What freedom we have to work with these amazing telescopes and peer deep into this marvelous universe. So cool.
I remember Nelson Mandela once talking about astronomers like us.
Like those words? Very wise man. Freedom comes in so many ways. It's so great to see the southern sky like this. There it is, the Southern Cross. And there's the star Alpha Centauri, part of the triple star system, closest stars to the sun. And there's the constellation Centaur and the bright star Canopus, part of Carina, the ship.
I forget how people from north of the equator get so excited about seeing the southern sky, but I guess I'm the same way. I love to explore the northern sky. Did you know, in many African myths, the stars of the Southern Cross were giraffes on a journey? Other stories saw them as lions. Where is Orion? Ah, yes. The Namaqua people who live in this area told a story where the three stars of Orion's belt are three zebras. We have to remember, people look to the stars in a practical ways too. The sky points us in the right direction so we can travel, and the sky above tells time. For example, recently, a baboon bone was found in a cave right here in South Africa. A closer look revealed the bone had small notches. These 29 notches matched the moon's cycle. Carbon testing revealed the bone was 40,000 years old. It's called the Labambo bone.
The 29 notches equals the 29 days it takes for the moon to go through its phases. The moon gave us our month. Tracking time was essential for people to plan and survive.
There was another discovery, the Ishango bone, with similar markings. It was found in the Congo, in Central Africa. Did you know there is an African Stonehenge built before the one in Europe?
Where is that located?
It's in the Nubian desert, near the Nile River in Egypt. It's called the Nabta Playa. Like many stone circles across our planet, the Nabta stones tell directions: north-south and east-west. They also mark time, mainly the equinoxes and the solstices. The Nabta people were herders of animals, and they needed to know the seasons. There are at least 30 structures here, first built about 8,000 years ago. They predate the great buildings of the Egyptian civilization, not far from here.
That's Abu Simbel. It has two great temples for Ramses II. And there's the Phi Li Temple. And the Valley of the Kings. Inside is the tomb of Tutankhamun. Many remarkable temples in this area. Hatshepsut, Medinet Habu, Luxor, Karnak.
There's evidence that the people who built Nabta Playa seeded Egyptian beliefs and religion. For example, the Nabta circles have star alignments to the Big Dipper and Orion, which are also important in Egyptian cosmology.
There's the Medum Pyramid. There's the Great Pyramids of Giza.
There are a great many stories here.
Yes, and they started with
Atumra.
the sun god, creator of all. From Atum came Nut, the sky goddess, and Shu, the god of air, who holds up Nut, separating her from Jeb, the earth god.
Creation stories abound in Africa. Let's travel to West Africa and hear the Yoruba people tell how all came to be. Way back in time, many, many moons ago, there was only the sky above and the water below. There was no land to speak of. All of the Orisha gods, the top two were Olorun, who ruled the sky, and Olokun, who ruled the sea. Another god, Obatala, noticed that there was no land and asked permission to help create the ground. They told him yes, and gave him a long gold chain, a shell filled with sand, a white hen, and a palm nut. Obatala climbed down the golden chain. It took quite a while, but finally he arrived at the bottom. Then the gods called down to him, "Empty the sand." He took the shell and poured the sand down toward the sea. "Toss down the hen." Soon the hen was kicking, scattering the sand all over. Great piles became the mountains with many valleys and streams in between. "Let go the palm nut." Soon after that, a forest of palm trees grew all around. Then Obatala descended himself onto the land. He built clay figures from the west sand, and the sky god Olorun breathed life into them. Soon, a city was built up, and it was named Ife. All of a sudden, Olokun, who ruled the sea, became jealous and angry about all the new land with its buildings and people. She sent giant waves that swept over the lands. It nearly wiped everything away. But eventually the waters receded. The people breathed more easily and gained new respect for the great seas. The Yoruba people tell this story to remember that life, all that surrounds them, comes from the sky, from the gods above, whose wisdom is passed down to them generation after generation after generation after generation after generation.
I guess we're passing wisdom down too. Science wisdom. Those drum beats I hear in that story, it reminds me of a sound from a star in the constellation Hydra, the water snake.
I heard of that, making sounds from the stars.
Yes, check this out. Listen carefully. put out light and energy and create sounds as a result of the high energy collisions between atoms. And we can translate this into audio. We can hear the pulsating rhythms of the heavens above.
It does sound like African drumming. That's awesome! Another connection to this amazing universe.
Speaking of amazing, it's so cool how we figured out the distance to the stars.
Parallax was one way. The thumb trick. Hey, let's do it.
Sure. Maybe we can get all these people here to do it too.
Yeah, good idea. Okay, everyone, and I mean everyone, hold out your right thumb at arm's length. Good job. You got it. Now, use your thumb to cover the center of the Southern Cross. Best you can. Now take your left hand and cover your left eye. Now take the same hand and cover your right eye. Did you see your thumb jump? Go ahead, try it again. Keep going back and forth. Yeah, you got it. Okay, you can rest your arms now.
Parallax on the big scale involves the Earth going around the Sun. The Earth is like your two eyes in our little experiment. Your thumb represents a nearby star. As the Earth orbits, it goes from one side of the Sun to the other every 6 months, just like going back and forth covering your eyes. Notice the nearby star, like your thumb? It seems to move compared to the more distant stars. Did the star really move? Nope. Just like your thumb, the star stayed put. If the Earth's orbit was really big, you'd have all the close stars look like they're swinging back and forth in the sky.
Good point. Measuring parallax is tough. You need really precise measurements.
And if you add a little math, a little geometry, presto, you figured out the distances to the stars.
All this reminds me of a great story from Nigeria told by African stargazers long ago. Once upon a time, objects in the sky were very close to the earth. Men and women did not have to plant their own food. Instead, when they were hungry, they just raced up and broke off a piece of the sky to eat. Sometimes the sky tasted like ripe bananas. Other times it tasted like roasted potatoes. The sky was always delicious. Many people in the kingdom did not use this generous gift of the sky wisely. They took more than they could eat. The people started to throw extra pieces into the garbage. The sky grew angry about everyone being so inconsiderate. Soon, the irritated sky made black clouds hover over the land, and with a great sky voice said, "You are wasting my gift of food. Do not take more than you can eat. I don't want to see pieces of me in the garbage anymore, or I will take my gift away." The king and the people trembled with fear and soon learned to be more careful when taking food from the sky. But one person, a man named Adami, still took more than he could eat. He tried to hide his extra food at the bottom of the garbage pile. But the sky saw this and became very upset again and said, "Now I will go away to a great distance so you cannot reach up and waste my food anymore." The people grew scared, of course, but this guy told them, "You will have to learn how to plant crops and hunt in the forest." As this guy moved further and further away, they often recalled this guy's words and did not waste the precious gifts of nature.
Love that story. So important to respect all this beauty and abundant resources here on planet Earth.
Stories often have a way of telling us the right thing to do or not to do.
Do you know any other stories from around Africa?
Sure, there are plenty. See the gorgeous Milky Way up there, arching across the sky? The African Kung Bushmen imagined it as the great backbone of the night, holding up the sky. Another of their stories says the Milky Way's light was ashes from the fire. A girl threw them up there to guide a lost hunter back home.
I know the Egyptians saw the Big Dipper as a wild sequence of a bull, a floating man, and a hippopotamus with a crocodile on its back.
Tuareg people who lived across the vast Sahara Desert imagined the Dipper stars as a camel.
What about eclipses? You know, eclipses of the sun and the moon.
In West Africa, there is a story of the sun being jealous of the moon and tricked her. The moon got revenge, though. Their arguments grew, and it got to the point where they would fight constantly. Sometimes the moon grew really upset, and she engulfed the sun. What we today call a solar eclipse. And sometimes the sun got so furious with the moon, he denied his bright light, and the moon disappeared. What we call a lunar eclipse. Just think, it all started right here in Africa.
What do you mean?
This is where humans first looked up into this glorious sky. It makes me think of the long 4 billion year journey of life here on Earth. Our evolutionary path from microorganism to stargazer is extraordinary.
And we haven't been around all that long compared to the whole history of the Earth and the universe.
Exactly. And only 60,000 years ago, we humans started moving, migrating out of Africa and all across the globe. As people traveled, their skin colors changed based on levels of ultraviolet radiation from the sun. Nearer the equator, with the sun high overhead, more skin protection is needed. A dark pigment called melanin provides this safety. Near the poles, with the sun lower, less melanin is needed and skin color became less dark.
Just think the many years it took crossing mountains, rivers, seas, entire continents, exploring all the footsteps, the big leaps, the side trips, perilous passages, new lands, new homes. And today, we have populated every part of our beautiful blue planet, our Earth. And I wonder where to next. The moon again? Mars someday? To the stars? Fire up the warp drive.
Or the hyperdrive.
You're right. It all started here. It's like everyone all over the world, are Stargazers of Africa.
We are. Yes, we are.
Asimtumiseni makula, asimtumiseni makula, elixesha sisemhlabeni, asimtumiseni makula, elixesha sisemhlabeni, asimtumiseni makula, bongani nina, bongani nina, bongani nina, elixesha sisemhlabeni, asimtumiseni makula, elixesha sisemhlabeni, asimtumiseni makula, asimtumiseni makula, asimtumiseni makula, elixesha sisemhlabeni, asimtumiseni makula, elixesha sisemhlabeni, asimtumiseni makula, bongani nina, bongani nina, bongani nina, elixesha sisemhlabeni, asimtumiseni makula, elixesha sisemhlabeni, asimtumiseni makula, asimtumiseni makula, asimtumiseni makula, bongani